Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of karTECH Talks. My name is karTECH and I serve as the Vice President and Chief Information Officer for LIMRA, LOMA, SRI, and LL Global. In this series, we are going to take a journey through agility and what agility means at each and every step and each and every function within IT. We will explore Agile, the continuous integration, continuous delivery, CI/CD pipeline, and the concept of DevOps. But wait, there's more. A critical natural extension of DevOps is the concept of DevSecOps that provides a full 360-degree framework and cultural best practices for the modern, nimble, and most importantly, hyper-business responsive technology organization. If you're an IT professional, regardless of tier or function, and your organization is looking to implement one or all of these concepts, my hope is that the series serves as a catalyst for you to think about how to engage your business partners. Most importantly, if you are a non-IT professional, this series is for you. Most of the time, we have a tendency to drown ourselves in an alphabet soup of acronyms without taking a step back to ensure that our partners understand what it is that we are doing. Why is it that we're doing it? And most importantly, the tangible business value of what it is that we're delivering. Let's start with Agile. There are hundreds of articles, publications, how-to guides, and best practices on Agile. Most, if not all companies across insurance and financial services have gone through a transition from Waterfall to Agile or are in the midst of doing so, operating in so-called Agile manner. Although the knowledge of Agile is increasing exponentially throughout the industry, it is important to level set on Agile practices before segueing to CI/CD, DevOps, and DevSecOps. Agile is not a tool. Agile is prescriptive of a process, but is not just a process framework like Lean or Kanban. It is much more than that. Agile is a cultural shift on how we, business and IT, come together to organize, plan, and to execute on work. Most of all, Agile is not an IT thing. Agile requires the business and IT equitably. In fact, several business groups leverage Agile principles in their product development process, even with no IT or technology involvement. When I refer to Agile, I refer specifically to Scrum. The Scrum process framework is one way, the most prominent way of implementing an Agile mindset. Agile has been around for less than 20 years now, but it is dominating Waterfall and adoption rates. Why is that? Because it works. Agile initiatives are more than twice as likely to succeed as Waterfall initiatives. To understand Agile, first let's understand Waterfall. Waterfall was the tried and true software or systems development process in place across organizations for decades. As you can see, it's called Waterfall because each sequential step in the process cascades into the next step in the process. How does Waterfall work? Let's explore this germane to the software or systems development lifecycle. It all starts with gathering, collecting, analyzing, documenting, and the review and regurgitation of business requirements. This is an intensive and rigorous process. Once business requirements are understood, vetted, and approved by all the stakeholders, we move on to the next phase, design and architecture. Design and architecture is where the baton is effectively transitioned into IT to architect the system or the ecosystem. Once architecture is complete, the product then passes over to development and coding. After several months of software development, depending on the size, scope of the program, it passes on to software quality assurance or testing. Once testing is complete, within an acceptable defect-tolerant ratio, the product is handed off to the business and implemented live in production after approval. Once this is complete, it then transitions into something called steady state or maintenance and support. This is the phase where maintenance requests, enhancements, or defects are almost instantaneously guaranteed to start flooding in. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? Our draw to Waterfall, which again has been the standard development process for decades, is that it is lucid. It is simple, easy to manage, and easy to understand. We as human beings are generally hardwired for pattern and repetition. You wake up, brush your teeth, take a shower, drink your coffee, head to work, etc. It's sequential. Waterfall, the entire system is delivered at once. That, in a nutshell, is also the challenge with Waterfall, that the entire system is delivered at once. Since each step is sequential, you have little control in being able to yoke the product in a different direction if the business demands it. Adaptability is prohibitive and nearly impossible because if you discover a change or a flaw in the testing cycle, you need to unwind potentially months worth of work and go back all the way to the requirements phase and start back over again. Depending on the amount of product built, this can be a burdensome and costly affair. From a business perspective, far too often, the communication pathway between the business and IT severely constricts between the requirements phase to the design and architecture and certainly the coding phase. This lack of continual feedback loop can cause even the best of most documented business requirements to be susceptible to being misread, misunderstood, or misconstrued. My analogy is that the business may have requested you for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but on the other side of the communication black hole, we end up delivering a peanut butter and gefilte fish sandwich.
Ew.
This lack of communication directly leads to the impression that the requirements have gone into the IT black hole, only to re-emerge several months later from a wormhole, which for us space nerds is theoretically what's on the other side of a black hole. You then deliver a product that the business did not ask for or need. But worse, by the time something is delivered, the business may have completely changed. In the 21st century and the breakneck pace of change, it is an almost certainty that your business premise and the drivers from a year ago are vastly different in terms of priorities than they are today. Think about what COVID has done to our business landscape. Let's explore some of the other downfalls of Waterfall. First, the longer a project goes, the higher the risk that that project will not be successful and the higher it costs in delivery. Second, the longer a project goes, the increasingly challenging it becomes to keep a team engaged. Constant starts and stops and shifts have a significantly detrimental impact on team morale. Third, projects just take longer. The starts, stops, restarts, shifts just add up over the arc of time, and the overall delivery of any business value is impeded until the entire delivery is deemed to be complete. With all due respect to Daniel Radcliffe. Let's now talk about Agile. In a nutshell, Agile is an iterative and interactive approach to developing and delivering product. Most often, we equate this product with technology, a system or software, but an Agile approach can be used to deliver any product. The driving factor with Agile is to focus on small, incremental time box deliveries instead of all at once. This time box is typically 2 weeks and no more than a month. This is known as a sprint, a working deliverable at the end of each iteration, at the end of each sprint. In this case, working software, for example, is the key measure of success. Agile is highly flexible and adaptable to your business needs. Each sprint builds upon the prior sprint, allowing you to make changes to direction and continually incorporate the feedback of your stakeholders along the way. The team that works on these self-contained sprints is a cross-functional one. That means that the team is comprised of individuals across business and IT, and each one of them has an equitable stake in ensuring the successful development and delivery of the product they build jointly. So why Agile? Regardless of whether you're in a business function or an IT function, Agile delivers faster business value and time to market. With a regular feedback loop and a cross-functional team working on the same product and continual and open dialogue within the team and with your stakeholders, you are relatively guaranteed precision and accuracy in delivery. You are assured that your delivery solves for precisely the business problem you're looking to solve for. In my view, the two most important benefits of Agile are those of absolute communication and collaboration, as well as total trust and transparency. You cannot build trust without being absolutely transparent, and you cannot be transparent if you don't trust. An Agile Scrum team with the requisite Agile Scrum ceremonies are designed to foster and nurture this trust and promote communication and collaboration. What are some of the characteristics of Agile? Well, join me next time in the next video in this series as we explore key Agile concepts, roles, and responsibilities. We love to get your feedback. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn, please leave your comments in the comments section of this video. Until next time, I'm karTECH for Tech Talk.